So there's this concept of philia. Man, that's an interesting word, isn't it? Philia. It's the Greek word for the non-romantic love shared between true friends. It implies deep camaraderie, loyalty, and mutual respect. If we look back to history, I think the greatest example of philia was the friendship between the philosophers Socrates and Plato. So Plato's a young dude, probably in his early 20s, still figuring out his philosophy game. He's got this older mentor, Socrates, this guy who's wildly smart, but in the most obnoxious way possible. Imagine a guy who's always poking holes in everything you think you know, and the whole time, he's just asking you questions that make your brain hurt. That's Socrates. And for Socrates, experiencing Plato's growth in close proximity was its own reward. It brought tremendous joy to Socrates. Those two dudes, they had philia, and it was fucking beautiful. Now, the two most important dudes on our planet today are President Trump and Elon Musk. They have a very new relationship, and it is a very extraordinary relationship. If it tracks over time, it will set a new standard for what philia can be at its absolute best. But there is this question of who maps to Socrates and who maps to Plato. Even though our President Trump and Elon Musk are each ultra high energy in their own unique ways, President Trump is technically older in age, and he is in charge of the greatest nation on the planet, so let's map President Trump to Socrates and Elon to Plato. Now, in my opinion, the strongest relationships always have an element of each person in the relationship having something that the other person wants but doesn't need, wants and enjoys but does not covet. Plato had untamed idealism. Socrates wanted to be around that, but he didn't need to be. Conversely, Socrates had method. Plato was the dreamer, the visionary, and Socrates was the methodical craftsman who sharpened everything to a point. What President Trump has that I think Elon wants is love. Big, beautiful, boundless love. The people who love President Trump really, really, really love him. And there are a lot of people who love our President Trump. A lot of people love our president bigly. And honestly, if after his miraculous comeback, the assassination attempts, how dripped out our First Lady Melania Trump and First Daughter Ivanka Trump are, not to mention the emergence of Barron the Giant, after all of this, if you don't like President Trump at all, I think there is probably a tiny part deep inside of you that hates to love him. It might be subconscious, but I think it's there somewhere inside of you. I don't know Elon personally, but I think being so proximate to all of this profound love is something he wants. And Elon has something President Trump wants also. The eternal future. Elon represents the eternal future. He is the avatar for the eternal future globally because he is the avatar for technological innovation globally. SpaceX. We must colonize Mars to ensure humanity is multi-planetary and thus eternal. Neuralink, eternal brain health and merging with AI. Tesla and the Boring Company, eternal speed, safety, and efficiency. X, formerly known as Twitter, eternal memes. Now, I don't know Elon, but as someone who invests in technology entrepreneurs for a living, I can guarantee you that Elon has been to hell and back dozens of times on his rocky road to becoming the avatar for the eternal future. The eternal future. Does Trump need that? Nah. But does he want it? Absolutely. Trump's always been about making a splash in the here and now, and I bet he looks at Musk and thinks, man, all these people look at him and see the future, and I could use a piece of that. Back to the relationship between Socrates and Plato. It endured and it flourished because it was pure of heart. That's why it is legendary today, 2,400 years later. That's why it was philia. At its core was an ultra-rare form of purity. Does the relationship between Trump and Elon possess this ultra-rare form of purity that leads to true eternality? Only time will tell. Peace out.
As I grow yearly, I can see things more clearly. That's why they fear me.